Morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. We had some thunderstorms last night, so everything's really humid and foggy outside today, but the sun's starting to poke through a little bit. I guess today, what I want to talk about is technology and maybe some about mistakes. So, technology. When I started model railroading back in 1974, the layouts that I all saw were on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. It was HO scale. It was modeled after the book Lynn Westcott's HO Model Railroad That Grows. So me and my grandpa built that, and it turned into a pretty decent little layout in HO. And I'm originally a Santa Fe fan. Santa Fe will always be my first love. My first train back in the 1970s was a Tyco F9A and a Tyco F9A dummy. That was really cool, a lot of fun to play with. And yes, I put it down on the carpet and would push it along, take tracks out from behind, put a track in front, move it forward a little bit. And I would go all the way through the house at the behest of my grandmother hollering at me, "Don't do that." So we finally built a 4x8 table on top of a ping pong table. And that's how we got started. So we get in now to what's called technology. You know, you get this kid in 1974 that doesn't know anything about electricity, anything about toggle switches, reverse loops, bus wires, anything like that. We didn't have bus wires. We didn't have nickel silver rail. We had brass rail that you just hooked together with these little things called rail joiners. And you don't realize that over time, these rail joiners, they're going to oxidize. And as they oxidize, you're going to lose connection between the points. And you're going to start having what's called gremlins. But we didn't know anything about bus wires back then. So that being said, time rocks along. And the technology of the time was plywood. Then we started putting cork over the top of the plywood to get a ballast profile. It looks pretty good. Well, see, this is what I would call second generation technology, because it's no longer the 4x8 table where you're standing on the outside looking in. Now you're standing on the inside looking out as you go around, and that's going to go through the wall later on. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So anyway, this is what I call second generation technology. Now, I went from that to an HO scale 4x6 layout when we moved from the Dallas area down to the county that I live in now. And I set it up in my bedroom when I was in high school. So in 1982, when we moved down here to the county that I live in now, there were these two railroads down here, and one of them was the Southern Pacific, which we politely called Salpac, and this other one called the Burlington Northern. And I thought the Cascade green and black really looked good on the Burlington Northern stuff. So I wanted to figure out a way to put them together and start running them together and stuff like that. So I went to this place in Dallas. Some of you folks might remember it, some of you won't. If you never got a chance to experience Bobby Hall's House of Hobbies on Fitzhugh Street in Dallas, Texas, that was an experience within itself. Bobby Hall was one of the nicest ladies. She was one of the first female model railroad icons, I guess you would say. So, anyway, I found a Burlington Northern locomotive, an SD40-2, and I brought it home. So I started running a Burlington Northern locomotive with a Santa Fe locomotive. So then I got to thinking, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a merger. And I'm going to merge into, yep, you guessed it, the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railroad. It wasn't the BNSF, but it was the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railroad. So my original locomotive, which is probably in this case up here with things that need to be so fixed, I started running a Burlington Northern locomotive with a yellow Santa Fe war bonnet on the front, and on the side I put BNSF. So I can proudly tout that I started running Burlington Northern and Santa Fe in 1982. The actual merger, I believe, was in 1996. So I say me, myself, and I ran that railroad until 1986 when I joined the United States Army. Went to basic training, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, completed my basic training, and the whole time I was in basic training, most people took pictures of their girlfriends or their hot rods or something like that. But I had pictures of my layout. And every night on fire watch, I would sit up with a piece of paper and I would scribble, I'm going to change this track here, and I'm going to do this, some power lines over here, and this and that. Long story short, I got home from basic training at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to surprise my grandparents, so I flew home on my own dime, caught a taxi from Dallas down to the county that I live in here, and snuck in at 1 o'clock in the morning in my Army uniform with my duffel bag. I set that down. First thing I did was got a big glass of milk, petted the dog, kicked the cat, and I thought, you know what, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to wake them up, so I went in there to my room. The layout was gone. I mean, it was gone. It wasn't moved over. It was gone. So, unfortunately, the first words I said to my grandparents is, "What the hell happened to my layout?" My grandpa got up, came in here in his pajamas. "Billy, you're home." "Yeah, what happened to my layout?" "Well, we'll talk about that in the morning." By the time Grandma comes around, of course, "Billy, you're home." "Yeah, what happened to my layout?" You know, they thought of it as a toy train, but they didn't realize that it was a couple of $1,000 worth of detail parts and track and locomotives and control systems. And what happened to my layout? We'll talk about that in the morning. So, yeah, it was already morning for me, so I went out to the barn and come to find out my grandmother had my grandfather cut my layout up with a skill saw, put it out in the barn, and it had been in the barn for the whole time that I was in Army basic training, gathering spiders, gathering moisture, warping, ruining, and my heart just hurt because it's like you shot my best friend. Time marches on. I got into N-scale. And the reason why I got into N-scale was because I didn't have a large area to have a model railroad layout. So I went to N-scale, and N-scale, pardon my French for all the younger folks or for all the folks that get their feelings hurt really easy, N-scale sucked in 1986, 87. The wheels were horrible. The motors were horrible. They didn't run good until I found, and let me see if I can find it here, because I do know that it's still here. Y'all just have to bear with me here for a moment. It's here, I promise. Because I've held on to it all of these years. This is all stuff that needs to be fixed. And yes, it'll get fixed. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's it. This is it right here. This is a Kato GP39-2, GP39-2. But anyway, it's one of the first locomotives that Kato ever came out with that had a silky smooth, awesome running mechanism, and it saved my soul in model railroading, because now I can do N-scale and I can have a decent locomotive that runs with some decent freight cars and stuff like that. Anyway, time marches on. Getting back off of the sidetrack, back onto the main line here, we went to the new technology. Now, this is the next technology that I can think of, and it was plywood with some foam over the top of it. So I did that. And ladies and gentlemen, now we come to mistakes. This is plywood. This is foam. This is Atlas FlexTrack with drops. But if you look on the top of the foam here, that's aluminum foil that is laminated to this foam. Yeah. Don't do it, because aluminum foil conducts electricity, and if you get one piece of wire from a drop on this side and another piece of wire on a drop on this side, and they touch that aluminum foam, guess what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is the layout is going to go. Oh, shit. So now you got to go back through many tracks. Heartburn, heartache, heart attacks, anything else you can think of with the word heart in it. But I got it fixed. And I left it like it was. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Go with the pink foam insulation. Because the pink foam insulation, come to find out, is thick enough that it's very sturdy, very hardy. It doesn't sag, anything like that. You could cut into it, make ditches, do whatever you want with it. I'll do another video on that later. But anyway, pink foam insulation. laid on a 1x3 frame. So the layout moved into a 35-foot 1957 travel trailer. I'm going to do a video on that one of these days. I might do a short later on today about it. I don't know. But anyway, originally this was along the wall. It was an along the wall layout, and it went all the way down and went yonder way. But when I moved into this mobile home and got divorced, this front room became the model train room. So then I got the bright idea, you know what, if I put that old train room outside of that wall over there and go out of the house, I can have this layout room plus 35 foot. 35 foot in N scale is a mile. So that's 2 miles worth of main line, 2 prototype miles of main line. So anyway, long story short, I guess what I'm saying is, as technology comes along, things get so much better, and we're in a golden age of model railroading. We've got digital command control. We've got Kato locomotives that are oh so awesome to run. We've got scale trains locomotives that are oh so awesome to run. Look at the details on that thing. It's just beautiful. And we also have shenanigans. I showed this a while ago. A lot of people, their brain is going to bleed when they see this, because that's an SD 80 or SD 90. It's an 80, I think. But anyway, that's a custom paint for my railroad in Heritage 2. The locomotive number is my badge number when I was a volunteer firefighter in high school. I love it. It runs like a Swiss watch. So anyway, that being said, still working on the curve, connecting all of those tracks. And this is going to be the classification yard. I just got the fresh cork laid this morning. This is old cork that I saved. Is it perfectly level and smooth? No, it's not. But I can shim it when I start laying the tracks, and it'll come out good. Don't worry. Be happy. So I got one more piece that I've got to put back here. And then I got to put a little bit in right there. And then hopefully after the liquid nails, the liquid nails is dry, then be able to start laying some track. I did a short on this, but a wire nut fits beautifully over the top of your liquid nail spout. I've been using this for a long time, and it just doesn't dry out. It's awesome. Little construction hack for you right there. Anyway, if you get a chance, go watch my shorts. Not my shorts, but my short videos. You know what I mean. Go watch some of those, and where I explain a couple of 2 or 3 little thingies. Anyway, I've been babbling on now for about almost 20 minutes. So I guess I need to get out of here and start doing some work. Oh, I'm going to show you this one here too real quick. This is a Kato SD40-2, and it's custom painted for the DGNO, which we in the Dallas area call the Dingo. She's going to be running out across the layout. So, anyway, oh yeah, got Amtrak down there too. Sooner or later, Amtrak's going to be running across the layout. Got a lot of good things coming. And I've just got back into the motivation of doing it, so now it's full steam ahead. If anybody got any questions or comments, make sure and leave them in the comment sections. Questions, I try and answer everything as I can. YouTube doesn't always notify me absolutely when you post, but if I will see it, I will get back to you. I will answer any questions, comments, concerns that you have. If you like the video, do me a favor, click a thumbs up, because it'll get it out there to more model railroaders, and hopefully I can start growing the channel a little bit. If you don't like it, click the thumbs down. I don't get hurt easily. If you don't like something, tell me about it. Maybe it's something that I didn't see that I might could change before it's too late. And by all means, subscribe to the channel. Because like I say, I'm going to try and put a video out at least once a week. May do 2 or 3 shorts a day. I don't know. But anyway, content's coming out. Y'all come back and see me sometime. Y'all take care. Have a good weekend. Bye.